Don't worry, we're not recording you, we're recording me. So welcome. Today we want to focus on self-care, and we want to look at what is this hype around meditation? Why are people talking about it? Why are people doing it? And what is so good about it? So my name is Catherine McKenna. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a Pranic Healing instructor under the Institute of Pranic Healing for UK and Ireland. So Pranic Healing is a modality that was founded by a man named Master Chao Koksui, and he was originally from the Philippines, and he developed this modality it was an energy-based modality, and it was non-touch, which is fantastic for the climate that we're in at the moment. We can manage to keep our social distance, but it was developed and broken down into many different areas of our lives to help in all of these different areas. So for example, if someone was struggling with a physical ailment, there were certain protocols within the pranic healing system that would help alleviate that. Then if somebody was, there was something going on for them, maybe emotionally, maybe anxiety, depression, addiction, different things like that, there was also protocols developed for helping in that area too. And he also looked at relationships and finance and spirituality. So all of these different areas that we're constantly seeking more information about. So he developed this very holistic system that just helps all of these different areas. And the one that I want to focus on today is called self-care. Because when we're working in different jobs, when we're looking after the needs of different family members, we know that we've encountered different challenging situations where physically they might be not doing too well, or emotionally people might not be doing too well. And we have to continue to support them while we're trying to juggle everything. So this is one of the things that I've learned very well over the years from practice more than anything else. So for me, I run two businesses. I also have a school for children with autism, and I've developed a practice and teach the pranic healing as well. So juggling and making sure that my needs are being met, making sure that I have my self-care practice in place is one that's very, very important to me. So I'm going to just share a little presentation with you guys. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. Now, so what we're focusing on today is the importance of self-care, because we've met so many people who are burnt out, who are exhausted, either physically, emotionally drained, can't cope with that oh, my name is upside down. Don't know how that one happened. I'll correct that for the next presentation. So we've met so many different people who are experiencing this burnout. And then what happens is when we're looking after the needs of other people as well, it also builds up these different negative thoughts and negative emotions within our system too. But before we go on to the self-care, I want to look at meditation and the practice of meditation, why it's so important. Now, over in New Jersey, we have a research and development team, and they've been researching the benefits of the meditation that we practice in Pranic Healing. Is called the Twin Hearts meditation. And it's a fantastic meditation. And when they were doing their research around it, these were the different conclusions that the research brought up. So within pranic healing, we always focus on cleansing meditations. So for example, some modalities, everybody has different meditation practices around the world that they practice. So some of them focus on the breath, some of them focus on energizing the system, some of them focus on activating certain energy centers. Some of them are like mindfulness practices, whereas in pranic healing, we focus on cleansing the energy system and revitalizing it, but also focusing on getting rid of the negative thoughts and negative emotions that come up in the system. So when they finished doing their research, which I can email to you guys later on, it was a published research piece, so I'll send it over to you in an email. They noticed that the participants reported that there was less stress and anxiety. Their memory recall had improved. Their focus, their cognitive functioning, the brain activity had also improved. The gamma wave activity, which is usually only experienced by athletes, had also improved. The negative thoughts and emotions that had built up in the system, they felt like were flushed away. They felt more peace and stillness, and the immune system was boosted. That part of the brain that's in control of overthinking, that had calmed down as well. Physically, their bodies felt more relaxed, and they had an increased sense of compassion and this feeling of oneness within their system. So what happens is any nurse or doctor that you're talking to will tell you that when you experience stress and anxiety over a long period of time, it has a negative effect on the immune system. So it starts to affect how well the immune system works. So one of the reasons why we encourage people to practice meditation all the time is because it flushes out that stress and anxiety, and then it actually has these lovely physical benefits for the immune system. So for me, as a teacher, as a pranic healer, we have our own self-care practice that we practice each day, or whatever way your time schedule will allow you. But for me, I always do my practice every day, because I just feel like that I respond much better to situations. I'm more calmer. My emotions, I don't carry as much stress in the system. I seem to be flushing it just as quick as I'm generating it. And then also, it also helps me to have that focus, and my decision making process is much clearer and much faster. So I'll notice if I don't have my self-care practice in place, or if I miss a couple of days here and there, I'll actually notice that it starts to affect me physically. I won't have the energy that I usually do. Emotionally, I can feel the stress building, I can feel that anxiety building, and just like a sense of overwhelmed, with trying to juggle so much stuff. And also, I'll be quite slow in my decision making process, or I'll have a lot of doubt, or I might be unsure of the choices that I'm making, and I'm questioning myself. Whereas for me, when I do my meditation and my self-care practice, it just comes in so quick and so sharp. So that's one of the reasons why I want to encourage people to try and, think about including meditation into their practice. Now, we've all heard this saying, and I think I said it in our intro video that Freddie was looking for. So we're just talking about you can't pour from an empty cup. So as other people are drawn from you, and you're trying to help support other people, you're trying to, nurture other people, you're trying to provide for other people, you also have to make sure that you have enough energy to be able to do that. Because if your energy reservoir is empty, it's no different to the car tank in the car. If the tank is empty, you're not going to get very far. If you've no petrol or diesel in the car's not going to move. So you guys need to make sure that you've got enough energy within your system to be able to provide for all the people that you're linking with, both in your personal lives and professional lives. So why don't we just actually practice some meditation? And what we're going to do is, I'm going to get you just to relax and close your eyes. This one isn't the Twin Hearts meditation, but I will give you links to the Twin Hearts at the end. This one is just called the Dissolving into the Light meditation. I'll put on some nice music as well, just to start with, okay? So I'm going to get you just to relax and close your eyes. I'm just going to find some nice music. You can take a few nice deep breaths. Now you can tilt your head slightly forward and make sure you don't have your legs or your arms crossed. Just make sure you're nice and comfortable. We'll just start off with a nice invocation. So to the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, or whoever you pray to all the great ones, to our spiritual teachers, archangels, and to our higher selves, we humbly invoke for your divine blessings, divine guidance, divine love, help, and protection. with thanks and in full faith. Now just relax and take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Hold and exhale through the mouth. And hold. Inhale nice and slowly and deeply through the nose. And exhale slowly and deeply out through the mouth. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Hold and exhale through the mouth. Now just imagine a brilliant light coming down on the top of your crown, on the very, very top of your head. Imagine this brilliant light entering into your brain, into the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, the back, the middle and the front of your brain. Imagine the whole of your brain being cleansed with this brilliant, blinding white light. This brilliant light is going down to your forehead, down through the back of your head, down in between your eyebrows. This brilliant light is cleansing and regenerating as it moves down through your head. Just be aware and imagine it going down through your nose, down through your lips and gums, your teeth and your tongue, cleansing all the way down and entering into your neck. The brilliant light is going down through your throat, all the way through your neck, down through your shoulders. Any tension or any stress in your shoulders, just imagine it becoming completely dissolved into this light. Relax your shoulders, relax the arms. Imagine this brilliant light going down through your shoulders, down through the top of your arms, down through your elbows, forearms, your wrists, down through your hands and your fingertips. And imagine this brilliant light going down through your arms and out through your fingertips. Now be aware of the center of your chest. This area is being cleansed with this brilliant, blinding white light. It's being thoroughly cleansed and highly activated. Be aware of the back of your chest, between your shoulder blades. This area is being thoroughly cleansed and normalized. Be aware of your heart, of your lungs. All of your lungs and your heart are now being thoroughly cleansed with this brilliant, blinding white light. They are being cleansed and regenerated. Be aware of your ribs. Be aware of the hollow area in between the ribs. And imagine this brilliant light going down through your ribs, going down and entering into your stomach. This brilliant light is cleansing all of your stomach into your liver, your spleen, your small and large intestine. They're all being thoroughly cleansed with this brilliant blinding white light. They're being cleansed and regenerated. Be aware of your navel on your belly button. Your navel is being thoroughly cleansed, energized, and normalized. Be aware of your hips and your spine. Imagine this liquid, brilliant white light going down through your spine, going down, down, cleansing all of your spine from the very top of your neck, down through your upper back, the middle of your back, and your lower back. Imagine it going all the way down and out of your tailbone. The whole of your spine is being thoroughly cleansed with this brilliant, blinding white light. It's being cleansed and regenerated. Be aware of your pubic area, your sex organs, your urinary bladder, and all of the reproductive system. They're all being thoroughly cleansed with this brilliant, blinding white light. They're being cleansed and being regenerated. Be aware of your hips and imagine this brilliant light entering into your hips, going all the way down to the top of your legs, down through your knees, your shins, your calves, going down through your ankles, down through your heels, going into your feet, going into your toes, and out of the soles of your feet and entering into the earth beneath you. Now imagine your whole body being filled with this light. Your body is being completely filled with this brilliant, blinding light. All of your cells, all of your organs, even your blood are all being thoroughly cleansed and regenerated with this brilliant white light. Now imagine looking down at your feet and imagine looking at this brilliant white light like the sun shining on fresh snow. And imagine it completely dissolving your feet, very slowly coming up through your ankles, your shins and your calves, dissolving all of these areas, completely dissolving all the way up to your knees. Any pain or any discomfort anywhere in your body, imagine it being completely dissolved into the brilliant, blinding white light. The energy is moving up through your legs, up to the top of your legs, up to your thighs, dissolving as it goes, all the way up to your hips. Your hips are now becoming completely dissolved into the brilliant, blinding white light. If there's any pain, any discomfort, or any issues in any area of your body, just imagine it becoming completely dissolved into this brilliant, blinding white light. The brilliant light is going up through your navel, up through your lower back, your ribs, moving up the middle of your back, dissolving all of your body up to your ribs into this blinding white light. all of your ribs up to your chest, all of your fingers, your hands, going up to your arms, your lower arms, up to your elbows, your biceps and triceps, all the way up through your arms, are becoming completely dissolved into the blinding white light. This energy is moving up into your shoulders, your chest and your shoulders, up to your neck, are all being completely dissolved into this blinding white light. Silently say that all of your body is being completely dissolved all the way up to your neck. Now your neck is being dissolved up to your chin, the back of your head going up through your mouth, up through your nose. The back of your head is being completely dissolved into the blinding white light. Up through your nose, up through your eyes, the back of your head, and going all the way up to your forehead. Going up and up and up, and completely dissolving all of your head into this brilliant, blinding white light. Silently say, I am not the body. I am viewing my body being completely dissolved into the brilliant, blinding white light. Therefore, I cannot be my body. I am that I am. Now imagine your consciousness going higher and higher, higher above your head, about 2 inches, going higher, going 4 inches above your head, going 5 inches. Now think of a negative feeling that you've been harboring over the last few days, weeks, or even months. Now imagine bringing these negative feelings, negative emotions forward. Now imagine them all completely dissolving into the brilliant, blinding white light. Completely dissolve your emotions, these negative feelings, into the blinding white light. And silently say, I am not my emotions. I am viewing my emotions being completely dissolved into the blinding white light. Therefore, I cannot be my emotions. I am that I am. Now imagine your consciousness, your awareness going further and further above your head, going 10 inches above your head, going up and up and up. Now think of an apple. Think of a juicy red apple and think of a house. Now bring forward any negative thoughts that you've been harboring over the last few days, weeks, or even months. Bring these negative thoughts forward and imagine them alongside the house and alongside the apple. Now imagine all of these things, the house, the apple, and all the negative thoughts being pushed and dissolved into the blinding white light. The apple is being dissolved. The house is being dissolved. The negative thoughts are all being completely dissolved into the blinding white light. And silently say, I am not my thoughts. I am viewing my thoughts being completely dissolved into the blinding white light. Therefore, I cannot be my thoughts. I am that I am. I am not this body. I am not the emotions. I am not the thoughts. I'm not even the mind. The mind is just a subtle instrument of the soul. I am a being of divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. Silently say, I am that I am. Now be still and enjoy the silence for a few minutes. Just completely let go. Just totally let go. Now very slowly and gently, just return to your body. Return to your body right now. Just move your fingers and your toes. Inhale nice and slowly and deeply and hold. Exhale slowly and deeply and hold. Again, just breathe in nice and slowly and deeply and hold. Exhale slowly and deeply and hold. Now when you're ready, you can just open your eyes, hopefully feeling a lot more relaxed. So that was just a little experiment just to introduce you to the concept of meditation. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm sure there's some people who do lots of different meditation practices, but what I would urge people to do is have a look at the different practices that they're doing and make sure that they're doing the right ones to suit their lifestyle. So the dissolving into the light meditation just helps us to become detached from the thoughts and the emotions, from the body, which sometimes think they're in control and cause a little bit of chaos in our lives. And it also just helps us to have lovely healing for our body as well. So I want you to think about what you felt like before the meditation started. And welcome, Dave. I know you're a few minutes late. Don't worry. I think you got about half of the meditation, so don't worry. So think about what you were like before when you were setting yourself up for the webinar today, and then think about what you're like right now. Just really, really focus. Physically, how are you feeling now? Mentally, in your mind, how are you feeling now? And emotionally, how are you feeling? So I hope things are a little bit calmer for you. And I hope that you have got to experience some of the benefits that we were talking about. So I'm going to go through, I feel very rested, very good. That's lovely. I'm going to go through a little bit more around self-care now for the next few minutes. Oh, very good. So she says, I'm a lot more myself, grounded, feeling myself, and I did let go. So that's fantastic. And it's really important that we just give ourselves that opportunity as much as our schedules will allow us to. So for me, like the way I like to describe it is if you can imagine this pen, okay? So this pen is made up of lots of different molecules and it forms this physical object. So what happens is if I put like a pressure on the pen, but it's only for a short period of time, it's just going to stretch the pen, just going to stretch the molecules that they're not in the right way as what they usually are. However, if I put a huge amount of pressure on the pen, now I'm not going to break it, but you can see that it's starting to bend. You can see that if this was over a really long period of time, that the pen would actually snap. Well, we're no different. Our bodies are made up of these different molecules. And if there's a huge amount of stress or pressure put onto us over a really long period of time, then it's only a matter of time before either our physical body starts to get unwell or the mental system or the emotional system, we start to experience different emotional disorders then as well. So that's why it's really, really important for us to look after ourselves. It's a vital part, especially when you think back to pre-lockdown and how crazy busy everything is. And just, oh, thank you very much, Christina. Thank you so much. That's very sweet. If you think about, pre-lockdown, how busy we all were, and what was going on for us. And things were just really, really busy. And that's manageable if you've got a good self-care practice. But if you're burning the candle at both ends and you're not putting fuel into the car, or you're not making sure that you're getting your healthy food and you're looking after yourself, it's only really a matter of time before you start to experience some issues. Because the body is a fantastic mechanism. The way that it was developed, it can heal itself. But if there's too much stress, too much pressure going on, well then it's not being given the right opportunities then to start to recover. So I want to come back to our PowerPoint, if you don't mind. We'll have a little look at this. Here we are. So this is where we had left off just before our meditation, okay? So just to go back over a few bits, because I know some of you hopped in a little bit late. So the reasons why we practice meditation. So these are the top 10 reasons that research tell us. So it's all being scientifically researched. It's all being validated. This was based on the Twin Hearts meditation, but also the dissolving into the light meditation, which we just experienced, also has many of these different benefits as well, okay? It really, really helps to calm us physically, mentally, and emotionally. Helps to activate the heart, which gives us that sense of compassion and the feeling of oneness then as well. So what I want to look at first is, what is self-care? And I absolutely love this quote. And I know it's a little bit cliche, But actually, when you look at it, it's so important, because if we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he's one of the great psychologists, and he developed this pyramid system. And at the very bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he would suggest that the human beings need certain they have certain needs that need to be met. So the very basic ones are at the very bottom of the pyramid, which is like our food and our shelter and different things like that. You can have a look and do a bit of research around Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's really, really fantastic. But as we grow and as we develop, we start to move up that pyramid that Maslow has suggested. So what happens is, once our basic needs are being met, then we start to look for our next set of needs, and our next set of needs, and the next set of needs. So we have like a need for a sense of belonging, for all of our different needs to be met. And when they're not met, then we start to build up different emotions around it. There's different things that can happen within the system as well. So if you have a look at self-care, and self-care is falling in love with taking care of yourself, falling in love with the path of deep healing. So we've all come through many different experiences in our lifetimes, which have been fantastic, and other ones have been quite challenging. So we need to give ourselves that space, and that we need to educate ourselves on the different tools and techniques that help us to do that deep healing and give ourselves that time. I started pranic healing, I think it was maybe 14, 15 years ago. So for the first maybe 7 or 8 years, I was only doing healing on myself. I never had any idea that I was going to end up doing this sort of stuff. I never had any idea that I was going to start teaching pranic healing and traveling around Ireland and, giving different seminars and webinars online and stuff like that. The reason for me starting my pranic healing journey was just for healing for me on many, many different levels. So fall in love with becoming the best version of yourself. But you have to give yourself patience. You have to be compassionate towards yourself, and you have to have respect for your journey, and just allow your journey to happen as fast or as slow as it happens. It's not a race. We're not comparing ourselves to anybody else. You're just trying to do better than you did yesterday. Because if you understand, we're all souls here on a journey. We're all higher souls, and we've been put here to learn certain lessons, to work through certain karma, to meet certain people. And the old saying, some people's are lessons and some people are lessons. So whatever they are, this is all part of your journey. So when we take this time for ourselves, just creating this self-care space for ourselves, we can really look at where we're at. And we can really help ourselves to look at what we're doing right now in this present moment, and then building goals and targets then for the future, which we'll talk a little bit about today as well. So some of the self-care tips that we usually give, so I run the Care for Carers clinic, usually not during lockdown, obviously, every month in Dublin. And this is a particular clinic where people get to come along, they get to experience different meditations, and they also get to experience a pranic healing treatment where we do the stress protocol on people just to help them feel a little bit better. So during the clinic, we like to remind people of self-care tools. So obviously food contains prana. For those of you who don't know what prana is energy. It's a life force. So within our food, there's certain color pranas and there's a certain amount of prana. So what happens is, if we eat like the processed stuff and the stuff that's not good for us, which I love, by the way, but if we eat too much of that, we don't get enough prana into our system. So then the body starts to become tired. We're not getting them nutritions and the vitamins that we really need. So it's really important for us to look at our diet, and it's okay to have treat yourself as well, but just make sure that you're giving your body an opportunity to have all of that nice, clean food in their system. Hydration is very important. And then what we do is, throughout Ireland, if you have a look at our website, it's pranichealingireland.com. We've got a huge amount of pranic healing therapists that offer treatments. And as I said at the beginning, the treatments can be something that's physically going on for you, or can also be something that's more psychological or emotional based. So whatever it is, and you can, at the moment, there's loads of them doing the Zoom calls, you can get a distant pranic healing treatment, because let's face it, we live in a world of wireless networks. So, you know, you can actually change the channel of a smart TV just by moving your hand. Well, it's no different with pranic healing. We're surrounded by energy. We live in a sea of energy. So it's no different when we're doing pranic healing treatments distantly, or my clinic is back open in the Hill of Tara over in County Meath. So I have people coming back in there again at the moment. Maintaining a positive mind, which is really important. So especially when it first happened with the lockdown, there was a huge amount of fear, there was a huge amount of anxiety, because we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know how long we were going to be locked in our houses for, and different things like that. And when the mind doesn't have the answers, it tends to create about 20 or 30 different possible scenarios of what may or may not happen. So what we have to do is start to train the mind not to go there, not to go into that overthinking process, and just deal with what's going on right here, right now. So every time the mind runs off, you just pull it back. You know, it often reminds me of me walking my big dog. He's a mix between a Siberian Husky and an Alsatian. And he sometimes tries to pull me down the road when we're walking, but I just have to keep pulling him back and train him to walk beside me. And our mind is the exact same thing. You know, it'll often try to engage in that overthinking, and you know, the way it spirals out of control, and before you know it, you're having 15 different conversations with yourself. But the more you practice your meditation, the more control you gain over the mind, and then the more you're actually able to pull it back in, and you start to control the mind instead of allowing the mind to control you. Now, we practiced the breathing today. So before the meditation and after the meditation, we were inhaling, holding the breath for a second, exhaling and holding the breath for a second. So if you think about the way a newborn baby breathes, a lot of the time, if you watch them when they're lying down in the cot, they'll inhale through the nose, and you'll see the whole abdominal area rising up, and then as they breathe out, you'll see the whole abdominal area contracted back down again. So as humans, this is the way that we were naturally born breathing. This is the natural way to breathe. But unfortunately, as we grow older, and as the stress and anxiety and busy schedules and everything else kicks in, we end up chest breathing. And chest breathing can actually cause more stress and more anxiety. Number one, because physically there's not enough oxygen getting into the system. But we have to start to train ourselves then of how to do our proper deep abdominal breathing. So the way that we were practicing it at the beginning and at the end of the meditation was inhaling through the nose, hold the breath for a second, exhale through the mouth, hold the breath for a second. But as we inhale, bring that breath all the way down to where the abdominal area is. And then as we breathe out, the whole abdominal area contracts back in again. Now, on an energy level, what happens here is, as you hold the breath, a tremendous amount of prana or energy starts to flood into the system. So it's helping to energize the system then as well. So if you're feeling like a little bit of a slump in your day, you're feeling a little bit tired, you've still got a bit more paperwork or whatever else to do, just kick back for a few minutes and practice your breathing. I find if I'm queuing for different things, I go straight into my breath work, because I'm going to be standing around doing nothing anyway. No one knows what I'm doing. I may as well take advantage of the time while I'm waiting, and I just focus on that deep abdominal breathing. Now, if anyone's on my Facebook page, they would have noticed that I sneaked over to Dún Laoghaire. Well, I didn't sneak because I'm allowed to now. So I went over to Dún Laoghaire during the week and I hopped into the sea, because the sea has fantastic healing properties. The salt in the sea has fantastic healing properties. So as pranic healers, one of the main practices that we recommend for healers' hygiene is to have salt baths. But also, when we're doing pranic healing treatments, we also have a basin of salt and water. So as we remove any of the negative or diseased energy from the person's energy body, we take it away, and rather just throwing it in the room, because it'll just reattach, or like people will pick up on that when they come into the room. It'll be seen as quite a dirty space, or they'll feel like the space, there's something going on. So what we do is we remove it, we throw it into the salt water basin, the water absorbs it and the salt disintegrates it. So for me, what I try to do is have a salt bath every week if I can't get to the beach. Obviously it's a bit of a thunderstorm out this weekend, so there'll be no beach this weekend, but what I will do is I'll put a kilo of sea salt into the bath, and I'll pop about 10 to 15 drops of lavender oil as well. Now, for those of you who don't have a bath, what we would recommend is mixing some salt in with your shower gel, and then just rubbing it all over the body, particularly where the 11 major chakras are. So in pranic healing, we work on 11 major chakras. Where the chakras are, just rub in the shower gel with the salt into these areas. They're mainly down the front channel and the back channel. And then you've got the spleen also on the left-hand side at the front and the back. And just leave them on for a couple of minutes and then rinse them all off. Okay. Now, we know the benefits of being outside, being in nature, and this is one of the things that people really, really got to connect with over the last few months, because they were starting to enjoy being back outside again. So what we would recommend is, when you're outside in a nice, clean nature environment, we're absorbing fresh, clean prana, or fresh energy. So it's really important to give yourself an opportunity to do that at least once a week. I'm very lucky where I live. I'm at the bottom of the mountains here, so I try to go up to our waterworks, up into different mountain areas, different forests, different places like that. I'm also over in the Hill of Tara quite regularly, so there's lovely fresh energy and prana over there. So I'm giving my energy system an opportunity to go outside and absorb that into our system as well. Exercise as well is really, really important, because when we exercise, it helps to expel some of that stress energy from our system. So, we create between 20 and 50,000 thoughts a day. And a lot of the time, these thoughts can be quite negative. So when we're doing this, we need to be very careful that we're giving ourselves an opportunity to flush these negative thoughts out and to clear them from our system. Because otherwise they get too overwhelming, they become too big for us, and we nearly start to listen to the negative thoughts as opposed to all the positive stuff. So by exercising, even by taking a brisk walk in nature for 10-20 minutes, it has a lovely cleansing effect on the system. That's one of the reasons why we practice a couple of exercises before the Twin Hearts meditation, because it has a lovely cleansing effect on the system. So we would recommend exercising as being part of your self-care program too. And then sunshine, everyone knows when it's sunny out, everybody's in great form. Now, obviously, the sun is producing the vitamin D, which really helps us as well, but there's also prana that we get from the sun too. So everybody feels like they have more energy. And then around the balance then, so we have to make sure that we're getting the right amount of rest as part of our self-care program as well, okay? So I want to just have a quick look at these different areas, because when we look at self-care, we need to put a practice in place as much as you can, okay? So take different parts, put a practice in place, put a schedule in place, and then decide, right, what can I fit into my day, or what can I fit into my week? Now, I'm very, very strict on this, but it's because I work quite long days, and the only way that I'm able to do that is if I have my strict self-care program in place. So what I want you to also do is have a look at these different areas in your life, and I want you to have a think about your health, which talks about your physical, mental and emotional well-being. Have a look at your different recreation, your hobbies, because all these different areas of our lives need to have balance. If we're putting too much time and energy into one particular area, we're not getting that balance, and then we're going to be affected in a negative way. Have a look at your personal growth. People like to be challenged. People like to be working towards new things, new goals, new targets. Think about your family and your relationships. Think about your work and different accomplishments. Think about your finances and also your spirituality. Because a lot of the time, one of the reasons that I got into pranic healing was because I had this search inside me. I just felt like I was missing something in my life. I felt like I was missing some sort of a connection. So as I delved more and more into pranic healing, I realized I wasn't connected to myself, but I didn't have that spiritual connection as well, which was something that was really important to me. So that's one of the reasons why I went on within the pranic healing system to practice Arhatic yoga, which is a practice that helps us engage with different types of meditation and to develop spiritually and help our soul evolve. So what I want you to do is think about these different areas, maybe write them down if you want, or take a screenshot, it's fine. And just have a look and see if you're being fulfilled within these different areas. So what you need to do is look at where you're at right now at this moment, in particular with these different areas. And then one of the recommendations that I have is to look at where you would like to be in a year's time in regards to each area. So you're going to set out different targets, you're going to set out, different objectives, because if we're in a job that we don't like, that's going to have massive negative effects on our system. It's going to cause a build-up of resentment, of anger, different emotions coming up in the system. If it's only for a short period of time because you have to pay off a bill or whatever, that's fine. But if it's over a long period of time, you'll start to notice that even the body starts to get sick. There's different things that come up for you. It'll start to ripple through and start to affect your relationships, your family, and different things like that as well. So when we look at our lives, one of the things that we do in pranic healing is we learn how to run our lives like a business. So we look at all of the different areas in our lives and we look at where we're at the moment. And it doesn't matter if where we're at the moment is not where we want to be, that's fine. But it's about where do we want to be this time next year and looking at how are we going to get there, what strategies do we need to put in place. But in order to do that and in order to get and reach different targets and objectives in our lives, physically, mentally and emotionally, we do need to be quite healthy. So look at your self-care practice, look at reaching out maybe for some pranic healing treatments if you need to, and look at all the different therapists that are available online then as well to help you with this. And then this is the final part before I know there's a couple of questions in the chat that I'm going to address now in a second, and if anyone else has any more questions, they're welcome to fire them in there. So this is the final part then of what I include in my self-care practice is a huge amount of reflection and gratitude, because we're souls here, we're all evolving, we're all making loads of mistakes along the way. That's part of our process. Now, I have been working for the education system for over 10 years and I'm still trying to break down the conditioned thoughts within the young people that they think that mistakes are a bad thing, when actually mistakes are wonderful opportunities, because it's an opportunity for us to grow and learn and develop. So through the practice of reflection, we get to look at, okay, I didn't respond quite well to that situation. Maybe you used some negative thoughts, negative words, or negative actions. And then you get to reflect on what way would I do that when the opportunity comes up again. So in the teaching career, we've always been encouraged to do our daily evaluations or our daily reflections within our classroom. And within the pranic healing system, they would encourage the same thing as a daily practice as well. So the two of them quite often overlap for me. So at the end of my teaching day, I'll always reflect on how we responded to different situations, what we didn't do correctly, and how we can respond better the next time. because you can be guaranteed, because we're higher souls, that we're here as part of the soul's journey and we're here to learn, you can be guaranteed the same lesson is going to be given again and again and again until you learn how to respond in the right way. So with this practice, when I'm doing my reflection, I do it every day, and I just look at, maybe when the opportunity comes up again, how could I change my reaction to this situation? Or, if I'm after making a mistake, what am I going to do to, if there's a bit of harm that I caused, how could I repair that harm towards other people or towards the situation going forward? And then looking at gratitude as well, which is a huge thing. So some days we have our little off days, and I do always encourage people, when we're not feeling too well emotionally or mentally, to always look at the lovely things that they have in their life, because it helps shift our energy from our solar plexus chakra, which is all based around, the lower emotions, the fear, the anxiety, all of that sort of stuff, to the more higher refined heart chakra, where all the love and peace and compassion comes from. So when you're checking in with yourself, these are some nice little sentence starters for you to think about, in regards to your day. I feel, I need, I forgive, I celebrate, I release, I trust, and I am thankful for. So it's really important that our needs are being met in different situations as well. So I'm just going to click off that share there. So I hope the tips that we gave you were very, very helpful. I would encourage people to link in, have a look on the website. It's pranichealinginireland.com. And on the website, what you'll notice is there's different Twin Hearts meditation groups being done every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And there's always different talks that are going on as well. And as things start to open back up again, we can start to open our clinics. So as I mentioned, I'm back out in the Hill of Tara every week. If you want to book in for any pranic healing treatments, you're very welcome. And I will also be teaching the Pranic Healing Level 1 course at the end of July. So we're going to be over in Fairhouse in County Dublin. And it's a full 2-day course all around pranic healing. It gives you loads of different information about it. And it also helps you to learn how to treat different issues, different physical issues, different emotional, like stress and anxiety. And it also helps you delve a little bit more into your character building, your virtues. We do a lot more deeper reflection practice. So I see a couple of pranic healers on here. So they know their daily practice would be inner reflection and firm resolution. So it just makes it that little bit deeper. And it helps because you've got practices to help clear any of the negative thoughts and emotions from the system that are standing as obstacles in your way as you're trying to get to these different targets. So if you want any more information about that, you can hop over onto the Catherine McKenna Pranic Healing Instructor Facebook page, or you can email or contact me on the mobile. All my details are on that page as well. So I'm just going to have a little look and see. Some people are blessings and some people are lessons. Yeah, that's true. So some people come into our lives to teach us, and some people come into our lives to help us. So it's all part of the soul's journey. It's all part of neutralizing certain karma and all of that stuff, which we'll go more in detail with in our talks over the next couple of months. So we'll send you out some information on the other upcoming talks as well. Okay, and I'll just check here as well. We've got some questions in the Q&A. When in the sea, would you need to get in completely, or with feet and legs? Okay, so that's a great question. So what she's asking is, when you're in the sea, is it sufficient enough just to pop the feet and the legs in, or do you need to completely immerse yourself in the water? So what I would say to you is, if you can, put your whole system into the sea, even your head. The reason why I'm saying it is because we have 11 major chakras, okay? So you've got the crown, the forehead, the ajna, the throat, the front and back heart, front and back solar plexus, the navel, sex, basic men ming, and we've got the spleen over on the left hand side as well. So what you're trying to do is completely immerse yourself in the water, in the seawater, to allow these chakras to expel any of that negative energy that's in the system. When you do that, it just really helps to clean up the energy system, the whole aura, and also all of the different chakras. But what I will say to you is some people are afraid of water. Some people are afraid to swim in the sea, and you might just not have your stuff out with you on a particular day, and you only are able to put your bottom of your legs and your feet in. Absolutely go for it. If you can only put your feet and your legs into the water, then go for it. Because if you look at the bottom part of anybody's energy system, it's the densest part, it's the heaviest energetically. So even by putting the feet and the lower legs into the sea water, it does have a lovely cleansing effect on the body, on the energy system as well. Okay, and let me have a look here. It was informative. Oh, brilliant. She says, I'm looking forward to beginning my self-care diary. That's excellent. And okay, she's coming in, and yeah, we'll see you at the course at the end of July, and she's looking forward to her pranic healing journey. That's brilliant. Yeah, because it's so important. I'm a mother as well. I'm running a house. I'm trying to make sure, you know, my child's needs are being met, and we're trying to work, and there's all different things that are going on. So it's so important for us to make sure that our needs are being met and that we're looking after ourselves as well. And it's not something to feel guilty about. I'll just have a look here. Oh, thank you very much for your lovely words, Kira. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, so I think that's all the questions. I know I've gone a few minutes over on the time. So what we'll do is I'll pop you guys out a little email on Tuesday, and I'll just send you some more links of different things that are coming up that I think you might be interested in. And if you do have any more questions, do get in touch. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Hope it's not as windy where you are as it is for me. And I look forward to connecting with you all again soon. Take good care. Thank you so much. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Magella. Thank you. Thank you guys for your lovely comments. You're very kind. Mary, I see you've got a hand up. I hope if you have a question, Mary, throw it out there. I can hang on and answer your questions, no problem. Thanks, Ailish. I'm glad you enjoyed the meditation. Okay, I think everybody's happy. Oh, Katrina, that would be lovely. Yeah, absolutely. Pop along to the Hill of Tara or Dublin. Sometimes I'm up in County Louth as well. I haven't got up there through obviously the lockdown and everything, but I plan to be back up before the end of the year. So it would be lovely to have you in one of our groups at some stage. Excellent. I'm glad you really enjoyed it. That's brilliant. Fantastic. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thanks very much. You're very, very welcome. Oh, Vivian, I miss you. Vivian's one of our pranic healers. We haven't got to see each other in a long, long time. I look forward to catching up for coffee soon. Excellent. Take care. Have a lovely day.